interestingly, you too have also been reported under the new hate crime legislation. And it actually, for many Scots who've reported you, goes back to a speech you made in 2020 where you went through a whole series of important senior public posts in Scotland which are held by white people. And you made a very powerful point about how white so many important positions in Scotland are, and you said it's not good enough. Now, Scotland is 96% white, and there are some very active people, particularly on social media, who are saying Humza Yousaf's message was essentially racist. It was anti-white. And I, for one, feel that this is stirring up hatred against me as a white person. The police aren't interested. They say it's nonsense. They're certainly not going to investigate it. Yes. But under the new legislation, the police also have to, as I understand it, record it as a non-criminal hate incident, and you will be named. How do you feel about that?
So a couple of points to make. The description of those who reference that speech as hatred, I've not seen anybody who has described it in that way that isn't, frankly, part of the far right. The speech was in support of Black Lives Matters. I was making the point, of course, that people of colour need to be better represented in senior roles, and I'm proud to be the first person of colour who's now First Minister and the first Muslim leader of any Western nation. The second point I'd make around non-crime hate incidents being reported, one, that's first of all recorded. That's a matter for Police Scotland. But remember, the reason for non-crime hate incidents being recorded is part of course, a recommendation from the Stephen Lawrence inquiry. It was part of the McPherson report. So it's really for the police to decide how they record it.
You've seen another spike in hate directed towards you. And as you say, you're the first Muslim leader of a government in Western Europe. I just wonder whether you worry about the degree to which you and your family right now are being targeted by hate in this country.
I worry about hatred towards my family in particular. Obviously, I'm somewhat used to it, and that's not necessarily meaning that it's acceptable in any way, shape or form, but any cursory glance at social media would show to you death threats towards me on a regular basis, and I'm afraid that's somewhat part and parcel of being a person of colour and being in a high-profile position. Look, Scotland, like any other country in the world, has issues around institutional and structural racism. There's no doubt about that. Of course, we have racism in Scotland. We have racism in every single country. There's no doubt that Scotland is not immune to racism.